Good evening and welcome to SLBC News. I am Sonia Jafar. Coming up, President Julius Maada Bio encourages a shared vision between the University of Sierra Leone and the University of Liberia at a State House MOU signing between educators of the two countries. The Gambia oil palm plantation in Bam District could set to add more value to the agricultural sector after the Chief Minister heads a sub-ministerial committee to the district to settle nearly 2 decades of management dispute. And former president of Liberia of the Alliance Democratic Party, Mohamed Kamarimba Mansari, and co-accused Marian Aruni are each granted 100 million leones bail. These stories and more are lined up in the section of Newshour. But before going to details, let's go for a COVID preventive message. I'll be right back.
You see where them people here wear the mask then fine? Well, now so you say for wear your mask. Cover your nose and you must all them where you dey near other person.
Get yourself vaccinated, mask up, and make sure you stay safe. As we're now going to details, President Julius Maada Bio has stated that the Memorandum of Understanding between universities in Sierra Leone and Liberia is a shared vision that is most commendable and encourage them to move from the MOU to more concrete elements of the shared vision. President Bio made this statement during the signing ceremony at State House that brought together representatives from two countries. Harvest Renal report.
Sierra Leone and Liberia have shared common values, culture and traditions from the 18th century, but the two countries are now planning to focus on education, especially in technical and higher education this time round. Vice Chancellor and Principal, University of Sierra Leone, Professor Fodisa said the signing of the memoranda would normally have been the business of the administration of the two universities. For the fact that the signing of the memorandum is being presided over by President Bio is not just only another manifestation of the time and energy the President attaches to education at all levels in Sierra Leone, but also the relevance, recognition and respect he attaches to the long-standing bilateral relationship between Sierra Leone and Liberia. And the president of the University of Liberia, Professor Julius Jelunkan Nelson, highlighted that the collaboration between the two countries cannot be overemphasized in terms of education, as Liberia and Sierra Leone have come a long way. Mr. Nelson noted that the newly constructed border roads will do as much as improving access to market for the rural farmers, but without research in agriculture or delta-driven investment in mechanized farming, the two countries cannot achieve. The effort, according to him, is a genuine one committed to reach out for regional cooperation that is based on collaboration amongst higher education institutions, according to the United Nations Sustainable Development Solution Network, of which the University of Liberia is a full member. President Julius Maada Bio informed the partners about the need for collaboration in higher education to develop homegrown development solutions for problems experienced in both countries, whether it is in the field of the innovative uses of technology for development, agricultural production, medicine, and more. He had found the purpose of technical higher education for increasing productivity, creating jobs, and for other national development outcomes, not just for giving out paper certificates.
But think also about how this partnership will enhance the standing and reputation of both institutions, enrich faculty and students, and improve the quality of higher education in both our countries. Both institutions were established in the 1800s. How old they are. They call it in 1827, and the University of Liberia in 1862. The partnership of the first and second universities in West Africa hold tremendous promise if we get it right.
The Commander-in-Chief also emphasized on the sustainability aspect of the program and how to plan to financially sustain such initiative and the linkages among the academic institutions, government and the private sector that can sustain this partnership. This partnership should also be situated within a wider context of international knowledge production and sharing, President Bio added.
Our universities here in the region have individual links with Harvard University, Yale, MIT, and international research and other foundations and institutions. I am sure that you will be interested in having both countries as labs for producing, testing, and scaling solutions while working closely with faculty in both countries within the framework of this shared vision. So, there is a lot to gain from this MOU that we have just signed today. I want to publicly commit my support to making this a sustainable partnership.
Minister of Technical Higher Education, Professor Alpha Tijan, described the day as special for the two countries, adding that there are now 6 public universities in Sierra Leone as the journey has been too long from the 18th century. He disclosed that 2 months ago they inaugurated the postgraduate colleges of medicine, pharmacy and nursing as well.
But the important thing is that Liberia inaugurated theirs 5 years back, or even earlier. Liberia has been training postgraduates in medicine, whereas Sierra Leone is just at the start of this. What better time for collaboration to occur than this period of time?
Liberia's Minister of Education said that education is esteemed among all disciplines known to man, unlike the deliberate role it plays as it has been on the backs of education that civilization has thrived between generations. He described education as the only indispensable unit of national functionaries across the globe, upon which growth and development are clear and the function of a nation's progress is irreversibly granted.
We have assembled here today at this State House in the presence of His Excellency to honor as witnesses and participants a confirmation of the continuing relationship between these two national institutions of higher learning, the UL and the USL, evidenced by a memorandum of understanding, which Your Excellency has so graciously given permission to be hosted by yourself in your presence. There's no better way for national leadership to give consent to an action as you now do in this State House at this time on September 7, 2021.
Gifts were also presented to authorities of the two universities during the signing ceremony. SABC TV News Hour in Freetown, Mosuri reporting.
After nearly 2 decades of dispute over the running and management of the Gambia oil palm plantation in Bond District, a sub-ministerial committee headed by the Chief Minister Jacob Josefa has engaged local authorities in the district on bringing sanity to the said issue. Joseph Toure witnessed the ceremony and the outcome.
The muddy appearance of the vehicles in the ministerial convoys signified the determination that could not be prevented by poor road conditions for these ministers of government to obtain first-hand information on the controversies that surround Gambia oil palm plantation in both districts. It could be recalled that following the Civil War, a capacity project was initiated to develop and operate the oil plantation, but there had been several controversial issues surrounding the operation of an area about 3,000 hectares in size. The dance was to draw attention to the placards displaying various aspirations for the locals to see sanity in the operation of the plantation. However, in ensuring its sustainability, certain measures came out strong during the deliberations with local authorities. An asset register was requested along with a total estimate of potential companies that intend investing on the site. After the engagement with the local authorities, an inspection of the site, the Chief Minister was confident that the saga relating to regulating the plantation would now be a thing of the past.
Those concerns do not exist anymore. The community service looking out for the sanitized arrangements for them to benefit from the plantation. An arrangement that's relevant, and at the same time arrangement that can sustain. So those concerns are addressed. All what we need to do is fast track relevant payment from the government that is falling on the government counterpart for. That's why the delegation also was by the Ministry of Finance. So they're serious about the financial sector.
Addition value to agricultural produce by regularizing the management and operation of such an oil palm facility, Minister of Agriculture said, will show value for money.
Government in similar vein will be ensuring that whoever takes over this particular facility, including all the farm that has been planted, will ensure that it helps the country, it helps government, and the community will benefit immensely. Like I've said, it will create jobs, there will be technology transfer. You can even see these are just initial facilities that has been constructed, and behind you, the far end, that is the location for the mill that is being constructed, and we're looking at 10 tons per hour production of oil.
From the deliberations and reception of the battery of ministers, it appeared that local authorities desire the facility to be privatized.
Our greatest interest, first of all, is liberation. For the past years, we have been living in hazardous position. We have had no time even to harvest the oil palm, no central command. But today, I believe everybody is happy, and I hope government will expedite the process of making sure the private partner take over the oil palm.
While Cabinet discusses the fate of what happens with the operation of the plantation, it is expected that residents of both districts would exercise patience for the good of all. SLBC, Joseph Toure reporting.
Former presidential flag bearer, leader and chairman of the Alliance Democratic Party, Mohamed Kamarimba Mansari, and co-accused Marion Aruni have been granted 100 million euros bail by an appeal court judge, Justice Samuel Otila, at the Sexual Offence Model Court in Freetown. Both accused have been in custody for over 1 year now, since August 2020 when they were charged to court. Amina's report.
During the trial, the 2018 presidential candidate appeared sick with a thick blanket draped around his shoulders and was ushered into the dock by correctional guards. Mohamed Kamarimba Mansouri is before the court on 7 counts charge ranging from conspiracy, sexual penetration of a child, and to meeting a child for sexual purposes. According to allegation in court, Mohamed Kamarimba Mansouri sexually penetrated a 15-year-old girl in Freetown and Cornwall, sometimes in February and March 2020. The second accused, Marion Aruni, conspired with Mohamed Kamarimba Mansouri to commit the acts of sexual penetration with the said child. But Mohamed Kamarimba Mansouri and Marion Aruni denied the allegations in court. Making his application for bail on behalf of both accused, lead defense counsel Emmanuel Safa Abdullahi reapplied and adopted the defense's previous applications for bail. He further said Kamarimba is sick, adding that they have received the medical report as ordered by the judge in September 2020. State Prosecuting Counsel Umu Sumare did not oppose to the defense application for bail, but however expressed frustration over the slow pace of the matter on the side of the defense. She added that although she had not objected to bail, but called on the judge to be cognizant of the fact that the matter had dragged on even without both accused being remanded in prison. Justice Samuel O. Taylor approved the defense application for bail and granted bail to Mohammed Kamarimba Mansoure and Marion Aruni in the sum of 100 million each, with 2 sureties. The judge further stated that Mohammed Kamarimba Mansoure should avail himself to the Master and Registrar of the High Court thrice a week and sign a special register at the office of the Master and Registrar, and should submit all his traveling documents to the Master and Registrar of the High Court. Second accused Marion Aruni is mandated to visit the office of the Master and the Registrar of the High Court twice in a week. The matter continues on Tuesday, 14th September 2021. SLBC News, Amin Nash Brahma.
As a way to make life easy and comfortable for amputees in the country, a company based in the UK producing prosthetics has brought prosthetics for amputees into the country. The said prosthetics were brought in as a pilot phase of the bigger project, the aim in accomplished in giving prosthetics to all amputees in the country. Emmanuel Samara witnessed this event and now compiled this report.
New hope has arrived in the country with the coming of upper limb prosthetics that will enable amputees to be independent. The new prosthetic arm is welcomed by many amputees. Touching her arm, Adam Asuma was in tears, narrating how she was amputated during the Civil War as a child. Life must have been unfair being born with 2 arms, but unfortunately forced to grow up with just a limb. The story of Adama could be the same as many others with 1 limb. Today, those with 1 limb have found a new sense of joy with their prosthesis, enabling them to continue doing the things they love, as well as trying things they have never done before.
Kuala, when I want to do some domestic work, I use my prosthesis to do some domestic work.
Better being surgery and also use it to practice with my computer, laptop, and also writing.
Abdul Karim, who is a foster child of renowned journalist Umar Fofana, was born with 2 hands, but due to an accident, his hand was chopped off. His case is different as he has no appendage below the elbow, but his entire hand was removed, which made his own prosthesis different from others. His foster father, Umar Fofana, said living with Abdul Karim was a blessing in disguise for his family, as empathy was one big lesson they have learned from him.
I keep saying that every disabled person is potentially, every person is potentially a disabled person. You can get sick and lose your sight. You can get over the road accident and you lose your arm or your leg. So it's just natural to feel that empathy for people living with disabilities.
The National Rehabilitation Center was extremely happy for such partnership. But now that the country has 6 clinics producing prosthetics for lower limbs, the challenge has been producing prosthetics for upper limbs.
But then the upper limb is a challenge. So when I heard from Dr. Abs that there's a team that's into upper limb prosthetics, I was so happy that this is an opportunity for us to give service or provide prosthetic devices for people that are amputated, have upper limb amputation.
For the providers of the prosthetics, their dream to make the world a better place for all to live in lured them to bring such assistance into the country.
Prosthetics are made like clothes, so you can make them very quickly, like we're literally making them in that room right now, and you can get them to very easily, and that seems to fit with the kind of rural settings of a lot of the people in Sierra Leone that need prosthetic limbs. So we're testing it and we're doing a pilot and we're changing things. We're trying to use what we do in the UK, modify it with the people here.
The prosthesis provided for the few number of amputees, Nathan said, is a pilot phase, adding that they are targeting 200 people for the next 6 months. He called on all those without hands to visit the Freetown Cheshire home, as they will freely be given one. Emmanuel Samora, SLBC Freetown.
Continuing to become more locally relevant, the Rokel Commercial Bank has begun observing its 4th annual Customer Service Week. The financial institution was formerly Barclays Bank when it was established in 1978, but after constitutionals with the government of Sierra Leone, it was renamed Rokel Commercial Bank Sierra Leone Limited. As the SLBC's Victor Jones reports, the Customer Week was designed for emulation by any bank that appreciates the invaluable support of its customers and seek out where improvements could be made to its services.
As days give way to months, more customers continue to stream into Rokel Bank, each for a particular service that best appeals to their business taste. From Juba as far as Wellington, customers share how rich their experience has been banking with Rokel Commercial.
We are one of the best banks in Sierra Leone. I have not been doing it, but since I started banking, I love coming to bank, picking my money up here, keeping it in the bank.
They are efficient and I don't stay long here. At times I sit down on the chair and they do my business.
In a bid to bolster client service, the bank now caters for low-income earners and small and medium enterprises with startup loans.
Today, we thank God. About 33 members of my market.
Today, we thank God. About 33 members of my market have benefited from a loan from Rokel Commercial Bank. I am happy and we appreciate the bank for this.
Having served almost a century, Rokel Commercial Bank has risen through the ranks in the banking sector in Sierra Leone, with its head at the apex.
We are making just strides. We're going to outshine the others because we have people who are very proactive, who are visionary, and when you're in an industry or anywhere where there's competition, you have to ensure that you outsmart the others, and that is what we are doing.
According to branch manager Eastern Police Hannah Gibson, the bank is one of the oldest in the country, and it prides itself on delivering flawless customer service to its clients. Named after the great Rokel River, the bank has a heightened sense of urgency to prevent errors, theft and fraud, as well as to enhance the general security systems of its operations. The bank's mission is to provide banking and related financial services in a manner that builds strong, lasting and satisfying relationships with customers. SLBC News, Victor Jones.
The academic year for 2021-2022 commenced on 6 September with the expectation that all children should be in school, but the tendency of parents not sending their children to school on the first day or even the first week of a new academic year made SLBC Emmanuel Alfred Samura go out to monitor the new academic year to monitor the turnout of pupils in that area.
So it's qualified.
The second day of the start of a new academic year for St. Edward's Secondary School seems to be like any other day, as effective teaching were ongoing. But the pupils' turnout was discouraging at the time SLBCs made a spontaneous visit to monitor the turnout of pupils.
I believe it's the attitude of the parents, because since yesterday, timetable we are out, teachers start teaching. Those who came yesterday, we are fewer than the ones that we are seeing today. But because we started teaching yesterday, some of them informed their colleagues, well, they have started teaching, that's why.
Mr. John emphatically stated that they are taking records of those coming to school and punishment will be levied against absentees. For the Freetown Secondary School for girls, it was a different case, although the compound was as quiet as a mouse, with few movement from pupils. But upon entering into the classrooms, we realized an extremely encouraging turnout of pupils, which the principal of the junior secondary school, Gloria McFoy, said the impressive turnout could be as a result of their transition to single shift system.
One unique thing about this school year is that we transitioned into the single shift system, and both parents and students are so excited to see us go to one shift. I think that could be the contributing factor.
Like FSSG, the St. Joseph's Secondary School also had an encouraging turnout of pupils, which could be linked to the eagerness of the girls to attend school.
We are really trying to teach them. We are doing all our best for us to remain as a grade A school. And so when school reopens, the children are eager to come to school.
Effective teaching in a school, Mrs. Parker said, will commence immediately as they had finished putting the girls into their respective classes.
See the attitude of parents in this country towards the opening of school. Despite some schools have very good turnout, but some schools are struggling to see pupils come to school.
Emmanuel Samoa, SLBC Freetown.
The NBSSE has stated that even though the West African Senior School Certificate Examination is currently ongoing, this should not deter the operation of primary schools. Amara Soa, the National Program Coordinator, FQSE, NBSSE, was earlier on our sister program Good Morning Sierra Leone for this issue.
First day of school, we always go out from the ministry to gauge the temperature of attendance in schools. So I went out in the eastern of Freetown, and I was shocked to see that though the heads of schools were in schools, teachers were in schools, the PPs were not in schools. We drove around, and I had to come to the SLBC to inform parents through your medium here that schools have reopened and that the children should be back in schools. We tried to find out what the reason was. Up to now, I've not been able to gauge what the perception of parents are for not sending their children to school. We all know that on the opening day of school, for mom pupils are really, really excited. They want to go to school. They want to shower their new uniforms. Yes. They're happy because they have transitioned from primary school to secondary school. So what the problem is, we don't know.
So basically, you're still on the findings, I would say.
Yes, we're trying to find out because we had an engagement with stakeholders, the Conference of Principals. We had an engagement with National Council of Head Teachers way ahead of time. We had published the calendar for the new academic year back in July. And schools, because the results are out in record time, schools had done the admissions. In fact, admissions had closed. So we're expecting that, and we had broken and almost annihilated the culture of waiting for a week after schools reopened for the children to return to schools. Back in 2018, on the 17th of September when school reopened, there was a massive turnout. And this continued the following year. Last year we experienced a lull, and this year it's really unfortunate. So that's why we are engaging the media. And not only that, we are moving around schools to see whether teaching is in progress. Because schools have reopened and we expect effective teaching to commence.
And from your surveys, there are effective teaching?
Yesterday there was no teaching in schools.
And
now we told those schools that we visited that schools have reopened. If you have a people in class, teach. Yeah, that's your purpose of being here. Whether these pupils are here or not, start effective teaching. Because if teachers don't teach, then the children will have justification. Parents will have justification to keep their children back at home. But if they learn that effective teaching has commenced, then I believe everybody will release their children to go to school.
That was the National Program Coordinator, FQSE, MBSSE, Amara Sowell, earlier today on Good Morning Sierra Leone with us this morning. As we continue to other story, the University of Liberia and Njala University have also signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Academic Partnership. The signing took place at Njala campus, where Njala received the delegation from University of Liberia. Sir Basamra was present at the signing of ceremony and our report from Bo.
The partnership drive seeks to collaborate in training and exchange opportunities for students and faculty, work, study at the University of Liberia and that of Njala University. Key among the programs for collaboration by the two universities will be to assist in the development of programs, curricular reviews and doctoral degree program at University of Liberia in disciplines to be mutually agreed upon by the university. Receiving the delegation headed by the President of the University of Liberia, Professor Julius Nelson Jr., the Vice Chancellor and Principal of Njala University, Professor Andubimba, expressed delight about the visit by a sister university within the sub-region. He could not but accept what he described as the warm fellowship from the Liberian academic team, comprising not only lecturers from the University of Liberia, but students as well, adding that the display of openness demonstrated by the Liberian students to their Sierra Leonean counterparts speaks volumes in the anticipated partnership between University of Liberia and Njala University. The President of the University of Liberia, Professor Julius Sawolo Nelson Jr., appreciated President Julius Madabio for inviting the University of Liberia to a collaborative partnership drive with the University of Sierra Leone. The invitation by President of Sierra Leone, which was done in 2019, he added, is long overdue, but that it is better to start a journey of 1,000 miles with one step than abandon it. The two delegations inspected the three campuses of Njala University at Towama and Kowama in Bo and Njala, where heads of school and faculty interacted academically. Reporting from Bo, I am Suri Basamura.
Still to come on Newshour, SLBC covers a New York event targeting African Americans and people who love to travel. And the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces dismisses a female corporal for violating social media usage by members of RSLAB. These and more to come. Keep watching the SLBC Newshour with me, Sonia Jafar. Right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I am Sonia Shafar. This is SLBC Newshour. As we now go to details, over the decades, tourism has experienced continuous growth and diversification to become one of the fastest growing economic sectors in the world. Modern tourism is closely linked to development and it encompasses a growing number new destination. Public-private partnership are essential to sustainable tourism development as they allow stakeholders across the globe to participate in the development of tourism strategy, communication, and achieve their goals and interests and successfully implement tourism programs in harmony. The Senegalese public and private sector have come together to collectively pitch ideas and plans to make Senegal one of the greatest tourism destinations in Africa. At an event held in New York, Harbour reports how African Americans and people who love to travel are being directed to West Africa and Senegal particularly.
This is Times Square, at the heart of Manhattan, a target for Senegalese public and private sectors interested in investing in tourism. Specifically, they're interested in African Americans who are looking for connectivity. This is what the CEO of Mansa Musa Group, Musa Bateli, and partners are deliberating, targeting to choose Senegal as a great tourism destination country, and are proposing an idea that will bring jobs to thousands of Senegalese back home.
So I think we are in the era of Pan-Africanism, right? When we talk about black people, let's talk about the diaspora. There's no time, no way anymore, and no place for us to like label the show, right? So the purpose of this is showing how different people can come together, right? And for the same interest, for the same outcome, right? So Nyokobok came from there. DG l'a bien dit, ça c'est une proposition, right? All the people who love Africa, love one another can tip in, okay? This is the work of a community. So with that being said, intentionally, on a été very intentional about what we want to do here. Right? We are trying to do something incredible and big for our people.
With this strategy of boosting Senegal, Air Senegal and team are marketing the new A330-900 Neo to them, as the new carrier has a very competitive offer in the air traffic business. The reason why journalists are invited to popularize the business potential and other benefits this will bring to not only Senegal, but also Africa and Africans living in the diaspora.
This is why also I invite the press people from Senegal to be here, because they must be, bon, en français compliqué, mais ils doivent être témoins de cette affaire et pouvoir poser aussi le regard là-dessus. Because we must finally build a strong strategy to go with Air Senegal and develop the traffic from US to Senegal.
Sierra Leone is among many countries using Air Senegal, and the company is targeting not only her, but also her neighbors as well, as they make up 60% of the population that use the carrier. With attractive and competitive opportunities and benefits, the new route from Dakar to New York and Washington, D.C. will open more doors for the country through tourism.
This is the first time that the Senegalese Tourism Agency made contact with the professional of tourism from US. What we need is to create a field in which we build a very, very, very strong partnership, and the main goal is to tell to the American people that Senegal is a strong democracy too. We have a National Assembly in which we have 50 parts by women, 50 parts by men. Total parity is not the case here in US.
Questions and suggestions to help make this strategy a reality were discussed by high-profile dignitaries at the meeting. Public-private partnerships are essential to sustainable tourism development, as they allow stakeholders across the globe to participate in the development strategy, communicate and achieve their goals and interests, and successfully implement tourism programs, all while collaborating to achieve a common goal.
Senegal is known for its sensational rhythmic melodies, beautiful destinations, fashion, culture, but that's still not enough for the business people, both in the public and private sectors in Senegal. They want more to boost and accelerate the tourism industry in Senegal, thereby creating thousands of jobs for Senegalese back home. That's why they're in New York to meet and strategize to see a way how they'll be able to improve on the tourism growth in Senegal. Reporting for SLBC, I am Hawabari at Times Square, Manhattan, New York.
The Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces has dismissed a female corporal for violating rules against social media usage by members of RSLAF. The female corporal was said to have opened a WhatsApp group where political issues were broadly discussed. The action is against the Code of Ethics for RSLAF, hence military personnel are not to meddle in political affairs. To further the discussion, Maria Tudukure was joined in the studio by Colonel Charles Bondo, who is the communications person of RSLAF.
The disciplinary process was initiated, and that's when I got to know about it. This lady is at 14 Battalion, and she was charged, and she was tried summarily, and the matter was referred to her brigade, and eventually the brigade commander took an administrative action against her. She was not actually dismissed. But that is not to say that she was not asked out of the military. Dismissal is different from administrative action, as we know it in the military. If she was dismissed, she would have had her benefits. When we say dismissal in the military, it's dishonorable. So you go away without your benefits. So, but in the case of this lady, she will be getting a benefits.
So was she directly reported, sort of?
Of course. It came to she went through the disciplinary process, which means she must have been charged. Evidences would have been brought forward to corroborate the allegations against her. So all of these processes took place, and eventually she's out of the military.
So what were some of these discussions held in the group that you thought were against the ASLAF code?
Well, I cannot tell for sure because I wasn't part of that group, and I only know that she has been charged, and I trust the officers. I trust her commanding officer, the brigade commander, other officers, the adjutants, etc., etc. They will not just pick on her to say, well, she has committed an offense. They must have, the evidence would have been there.
So is she the only person that was administratively told to go, or were there other members of the ASLAF in that forum?
She's the only ASLAF member I know of. I am not aware of any other person that belongs to us ASLAF that was part of that group.
So how does this political discussions or meddling into politics affect ASLAF at all?
We military people, of course, we all know that we have nothing to do with politics. When you begin to show, which political party you belong to or which political party you support, you are creating a problem for the entire RSLF, because we, as a soldier, our job is to protect the territorial integrity of our nation. We all should not be taking part in political discussions because you begin to skew your thoughts. Suppose you begin to support one particular political party, especially the one that is not in power. Okay, so your loyalty becomes questionable, and you must be loyal to the present government of the day. This is what they tell us every now and then. Okay, so we don't want to skew matters. If you don't want to, go by our codes, don't be with us.
It's not time for African news. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says he welcomes the decision to release former President Jacob Zuma on medical parole and hopes he gets well soon. President Ramaphosa said during his concluding remarks at a National Executive Committee meeting of the governing African National Congress, they have heard that he is not well and they would like to wish him quick recovery as he restored back to his home to be with his loved ones. On Sunday, the Department of Correctional Services announced that Zuma will serve the remainder of his 15-month prison sentences at home. The nature of his illness was not specific, but a statement said the former president will complete the rest of his sentences in the community under special conditions. Videos of elephants staring into residential areas of coastal Kenya have emerged online. Kenya's NTV station shared footage of them crossing a road in the Zadzuzo area of Kilifi country. Kenya Wildlife Service officers are on ground according to NTV. The area is located near Tisabo National Park, that is the home to elephants. Stray wild animals have commonly been reported in the past. Convectionists said it happens mostly during dry season as animals search for water. There is a growing rift between Somalia's president and prime minister over the disappearance of a female intelligence agent, Ikran Talil, in capital Mogadishu. Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Robil publicly suspended the head of the intelligence agency over his handling of the case only for President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, better known by his nickname Farmajo. To reinstate him, the agency last week said that Ikran Talil was kidnapped and killed by Al-Shabaab, a claim that was dismissed by militant group. The case of Ms. Talil is causing confusion and controversies across Somalia. The 25-year-old was last seen at the end of June, leaving home in a government vehicle, but that seems to be all that people can agree on. Fahad Yasmin, who leads the intelligence agency, put out a statement saying that Al-Shabaab had kidnapped and murdered her. Well, that's all for African Stories. It's now time for entertainment news.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment News. I'm Sulaiman Toure. The drama from the Big Brother Naija housemate reality TV show continues. Emmanuel is now the head of house for this week, but this time nomination for possible eviction happened before the head of house game. What a twist. The nominees for next Sunday's eviction are Saga, Sasuke, White Money, Jackie B, J. Paul, Licorice and Queen. Pele was up, but because he was the second runner-up, he was given the opportunity to choose one of them to replace himself, and he chose Queen. The twist continues in the house as four housemates, Boma, Tega, Peace and Michael, were evicted on Sunday, but Boma and Tega seem to be widely discussed on social media. Fans worldwide who are against Boma and Tega's relationship in the house have taken to social media, posting different content against the two ex-housemates, especially when Tega is a married woman.
This is your baby, the baby you give me, in Big Brother Naija. You don't forget, it's not my own. It's yours, it's not my own. It's yours, it's not my baby. It's yours, it's not my own. It's yours. Baby, you are married. Go and meet your husband. Baby, you are married. Go and meet your husband. You know they say I get husband.
The popular Ghanaian comedian Parana of Mock News made a comment about the two ex-housemates, condemning their actions in the house.
Since one I don't did this one, which of the Big Brother person tell a strong pass whiskey Davido una know they think what only 1 year fame or 1 month fame make una they do rubbish. Married woman, you go Big Brother, think you know if you don't love your husband, you don't love your pikin, you Boma come outside you can't want to no wonder you don't wrong, you don't do mother give Nigeria, you not blow, give West Africa, you not blow, you don't play ball, you not blow, you don't go like this. Who do it you know say God to the punish person.
A picture depicting the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden is used to caricature Tega and Boma, referring to Biggie as the God of Eden, Boma as Adam and Tega as Eve. But Boma has posted on his Twitter page apologizing to fans and Nigerians. Now for the American entertainment news. The top American female hip-hop rapper Cardi B has given birth to a bouncing baby boy, her second child. The rapper posted on her Instagram page a photo of herself, her guy and the baby. Congratulations to Cardi B. Well, that's what we have for entertainment news. I'm Sulaiman Toure. Thanks for watching.
Many thanks to entertainment presenter Sulaiman Toure on Entertainment Update. Let's now go over to Sports Desk.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update.
In this edition of the Sport News, ahead of the commencement of the Sierra Leone Premier League on Saturday coming, mighty Blackpool Football Club has appointed former Premier League board chairman Rodney Michael as chairman of the club. It could be recalled that there has been controversies surrounding the leadership of the club. Rodney is a seasoned football administrator who has occupied various positions in the administration of football in the country for the past decades. The football enthusiast is also owner of Edmund Michael Foundation, a Division 1 football club. He was appointed chairman of the Bode State Football Association and later on became presidential candidate during the 2013 SLFA elective congress. Recently, Rodney Michael was exonerated by the Court of Arbitration for Sport after he was disqualified from taking part in the 2021 SLFA elective congress by the SLFA Ethics Committee. It is the wish of many Blackpool fans that the appointment of Rodney Michael brings an end to the long impasse in the club. Well, as clubs have been preparing ahead of the said league, a reporter Mohamed Lamin Toure was out and about to get the views of spectators ahead of Saturday's opening ceremony.
I'm starting off the Premier League to come this coming Saturday. Yeah, it's good, but it's just that we need the sport ministry and the NAPO back, to work hand in hand to, to set up measures of COVID-19, like hand washing, wearing face masks. I think that would be more better, for the league to start.
I'm so happy for the CLU Premier League. That will help for the selection of our national team so that Boom and other players them so that they will focus on the national team.
Well, I am Stephen Domaina, and like you have asked me about the Sierra Leone Premier League that is about to start. I think it is a very good thing for the youth of Sierra Leone, and if the league starts, I think it is a job opportunity for most of the young people who are engaged in the football
thing. My name is Ibrahim Toure. Really, it's a blessing for the uprising stars as we are about to approach the Nations Cup. It's a way that we can boost some of our youngsters and we can support them for the 2022 Nations Cup.
Those were views from spectators on their expectations on the commencement of the league. But that's all we have time for in this edition of Sport Update on Newshour. I am your host Esther Maris. I was saying goodbye and keep watching the SLBC.
Many thanks to Sports Days. That's for the Sport Update. Well, to end the news, the main point again. President Julius Maada Bio has encouraged a shared vision between the University of Sierra Leone and the University of Liberia at a State House MOU signing between educators of the two countries. The Gambia oil palm plantation in Bant district is preparing to add more value to the agriculture sector after the Chief Minister headed a sub-ministerial committee to the district for settlement of nearly 2 decades of management dispute. And former presidential flag bearer of the Alliance Democratic Party, Mohamed Kamari Mansari, and co-accused Marion Aroni have each been granted 100 million leones bail. Well, that's all for News On with me, Sonia Jafal. Have a lovely evening, stay blessed, and be safe. See you next time.